Having amassed a small fortune of silver, which was the interplanetary form of currency, as everyone well knows, and a rather fortunate amount of highly advanced medicines, things were beginning to shape up in a paltry 48 hours for those survivors who had previously been living in the luxury of their own cryptosleep caskets, headed to whatever destination they may have originally intended, now just had to make do with the hand life gave them. As it was, Aiden's hand was a little worse off than some of them. The night passed uneventfully, and although the rain had saved them before, it was now unrelenting. Been raining for a consecutive day or longer. Sarge couldn't remember. He just wanted very desperately to eat these berries. So did Beard, rather urgently. Ideally, this would be the sort of thing they could address in short order. There's no getting around it, though. They would have to make some form of farm here. Deciding potato plants were probably good enough for the time being. And for a little variety, perhaps some corn as well. Aiden set about to clearing some of these trees in an attempt to just make a space for other potable food to grow. Game of horseshoes was becoming competitive. So serious that Coley, in her entrepreneurial ways, decided it would be very important to remove this last bit of sandstone chunk or whatever was impeding her path, at the risk of letting Jane get a few free throws in. Raccoon became trapped inside of the room, perhaps voluntarily so. It was rather nice, the raccoon thought, though he might stay here for a while. Make it evident that this room was now his. Doctor thought perhaps it would be best if there was, instead of a simple triage, an actual place where patients could be treated. Collie's hunger became so desperate that she was willing to eat raw raccoon meat. She just couldn't bear to wait for Macy to finish the stove and begin cooking. Could not bear to wait 1 moment longer. It was as much as she would have expected, however. It's not like things would ever look great here in the colony. Perhaps they might. If someone could cook a decent meal. Their housing developed very nearly finished here. It was starting to look proper. Perhaps not as bad as Coley would otherwise give it. Some places had entirely enclosed roofs, where beds were not being actively rained upon. What's this? Colonists aren't alone. Strange woman by the name of Lilith, exiled from her homeland, and a gentleman known only as Cactus came to visit them. But were they here to visit? Were their intentions truly as noble as that? The visitors seemed to be approaching calmly and slowly and peacefully, and had brought some things to trade. It was ironic that one of these things they had brought with them was a weapon of some profound degree of destruction. Systematically, everyone laid claim to their respective beds. And just like that, they'd placed roofs over almost the entire place. There. It's finished. Jane decided it needed to be cleaner. Almost urgently so. Cactus, attempting to recruit Beard to join the village he was from, a place known as Comedian's Cliff, engaged the man in a game of hidden horseshoes. Beard idled about, liking his new friend a great deal. Doctor decided that there should be a place of learning. A place where he and potentially whomever was learned enough to join him could pursue some form of intellectual pursuits. The supply of food was rapidly diminishing. They needed to do something about it. Though, a deer. Perhaps that was the answer they'd been looking for. Although the deer had been dead for some time, it was still good by many standards. There's been some debate on when exactly a creature becomes roadkill, if you will. Sarge was of the opinion that the deer was roadkill. Jane had never heard of such things. And in the middle of the night, as the two passed each other, without one seeing the other, that which was set out to rot as garbage was soon to become delicious breakfast for them all. Jane thought, I know. I'll surprise them. I'll make them love me for making this delicious venison breakfast. It doesn't smell so bad once you nearly burn it, after all. Look at me and how diligent I am. She hummed happily to herself, and then went to bed.